Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into foundational reality, looking again at Anubhav Srivastava's Nothing Everything.
That's right. It's this, well, huge book aiming for a completely logical, philosophical theory of everything.
A big claim. And today, we're not building so much as maybe deconstructing. We're looking at how Srivastava challenges a pretty famous idea.
Exactly. We're jumping into a specific segment called, and this is great, some hilarious but deep questions for the hardcore solipsist.
Okay, solipsism. Let's just quickly define that for everyone listening.
Sure. Basically, solipsism is the philosophical idea that only your own mind, the observer's mind, is sure to exist. Everything else you see, hear, touch,
The whole world, maybe even me right now.
could just be an imaginary projection, a dream, basically, created by that one single mind.
Right. And Srivastava's mission here, in this section, is to poke holes in that idea using everyday logic.
Pretty much. To show how sticking to hardcore solipsism makes interacting with, well, reality almost impossible to explain logically.
So where does he start? What's the first big challenge?
It's very direct, physical interaction. Think about getting sick.
Okay. Like catching a cold.
Exactly. If only I exist and you're just part of my imagination, how do I physically catch a cold from you? Or, vice versa, if only you exist.
Because a cold needs, like, actual germs, a physical transmission pathway between two bodies.
Right. It relies on shared biology, shared physics, things the solipsist claims aren't independently real. How can an imaginary you give real me a physical illness?
Okay. But couldn't the solipsist just say, well, I imagined I got sick, or I imagined the pain?
That's where the next point comes in, physical force. What about, say, if you, my supposed imagination, shoved me or slapped me?
Ow.
Yeah.
Okay, what about it?
How does that imaginary action cause me, the supposedly single, real entity, to physically move or feel pain or get injured?
Because that takes energy transfer.
Right.
Real physical force.
Precisely. An imaginary slap shouldn't be able to move a real object or cause real injury. It points to an objective, external reality again, not just a subjective dream.
Okay, that physical stuff is tricky for the solipsist. What about bigger picture things, like history or biology?
Oh yeah, this gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Srivastava brings up what he calls the parental paradox.
Parental paradox.
If the solipsist's mind created the entire universe, did they also create their own parents?
Whoa. Okay, because parents usually come before their children.
Exactly. So did the solipsists create a past that existed before they themselves existed to create it? Or are their parents somehow older than the universe the solipsists supposedly imagined? It's a temporal knot.
That's a good one. And you mentioned biology, too.
Yeah, there's a related point, maybe even more direct. For a female solipsist, how can her imagination result in her getting pregnant?
Oh, right. Being knocked up, as the text puts it.
By an imaginary partner, leading to a very real physical pregnancy and eventually an imaginary baby. The biology just doesn't work purely in the realm of imagination. It requires physical processes.
So the physical world, history, biology, they all seem to rely on something outside the solipsist's mind. What about thought itself? Communication.
That's another angle. Language. How did the solipsists learn to communicate in the first place?
Usually you learn language from other people, parents, teachers, society.
Right. From the very imaginations, the solipsist claims aren't real. So did they learn language from their imagination? It's circular. You need an external source, a shared system.
And what about using ideas from others, like philosophers?
Yeah, Srivastava points this out too. Why would a solipsist quote someone like Descartes? I think therefore I am.
Because if the solipsist truly believes only they exist.
Then Descartes, whom they never personally met, never existed according to their own rules. Quoting him, or any historical figure, is admitting to a shared history, a shared body of knowledge that contradicts their core claim.
It's like they're borrowing authority from someone they claim is just a figment of their imagination.
Exactly. And that leads to the sort of, the final meta questions.
Which are?
First, why is the solipsist even bothering to argue? If they're talking to us or writing this down, aren't they just arguing with their own imagination?
It seems pointless if you truly believe it.
Yeah.
Like yelling at a character in your dream.
Right. It suggests, even implicitly, that they do believe there's an external audience to convince, which, again, breaks their own rule.
And the final point, the comparison.
It's provocative.
Yeah.
Srivastava asks if hardcore solipsists belong in the same category as, say, flat earthers.
Ooh, okay. Why that comparison?
Because the moment the solipsist acknowledges the existence of a flat earther, to categorize them, even to disagree, they've admitted someone else exists.
Right.
Another mind, another viewpoint. It shows the position is really only defensible in total isolation.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, the takeaway for you listening is that these questions, compiled by Srivastava, really attack hardline solipsism from all angles, using common sense and everyday reality.
Yeah, from getting a simple cold to the paradoxes of creating your own parents or learning language. The argument is that consistent solipsism just doesn't hold up when you actually try to live in the world.
It forces the question of what real even means if it doesn't include these shared experiences.
Absolutely. And this whole line of questioning about observation and existence, it leads us somewhere really interesting. Think about how crucial the observer is in solipsism.
Right. Everything depends on that single mind observing.
Now think about quantum mechanics, how observation seems to affect reality at that level. It's not the same thing, obviously, but the book draws a fascinating parallel in the next section.
So this solipsist dilemma ties into scientific interpretations of reality.
It does. Specifically, Srivastava uses this to set up a discussion comparing it to the Copenhagen interpretation. It's about the role of the observer and what constitutes existence. Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.